Hey, welcome to 24/7 Marriage Podcast. Here we are. You can see my legs.
Oh, we can see legs.
Uh,
So I feel like a 5-year-old because if this is our new setup, this is pretty much how I will always sit. Plus, I'm 5'2", so my feet don't touch the ground. So
so this is a new setup for us. So we are adjusting to. Hopefully, this works. We're anticipating it's going to work. We don't know. Um, so as many know, we with the Marriage Lab we travel full time across the country. And one of the things that we have to contend with is Wi-Fi where we're at. We've always had we weren't doing video. Now we are doing video. Then it was like a little bit different
well,
setup.
it's
And
not
now
so
we're trying something different.
it's not so much the Wi-Fi as it is the well, when we were just recording audio, that was super easy because we would just sit at the table, cram everything on the table, record, and then McKenna came along, who we decided to hire, and she's like, "You guys have to shoot video for YouTube." So we were doing it at the counter for several months, and I've just always had a vision of trying to make this work, which I think works. If people actually knew that we were in a 38-foot fifth wheel,
Yeah. So this. Hey, listen. Look how good this looks. I mean, for what it is. And so.
and I feel like we can only go up from here.
But you're not here. You're not listening because of this. You're listening because you love
No, Javi, there's people
content, you
that
want to
love,
invest into your marriage. Like that's the most important thing to
but
you.
there's a lot of people who love watching on YouTube. Like they have the TV on and they watch their podcasts. So we want to make
So
it
I
aesthetically
promise next time
pleasing.
I'll wear some pants. So you don't have to look at my legs.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I'm like moving and just I'm trying to find what works for me and being comfortable. So welcome to the podcast. When we were starting this podcast, Shane goes, "I've titled this podcast." I won't say
Butthole.
booty hole because she's
No,
like,
I titled it Butthole.
it's like there was a lot of issues getting the podcast up and going and
Well,
ready.
we have a new mixing
And
board,
so
and we were having a lot of trouble with it.
Yeah.
And we kept recording, listening back, playing back, and I finally got frustrated. And it doesn't let you record unless you
even now,
title
look
it.
at I'm gonna make an adjustment.
Oh, okay.
It's just what it is right now. So we have actually someone that we're looking at to for a producer for the podcast. We had some conversations yesterday. He's going to start doing some more editing and pieces for us. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to have Nate join us on the road.
He's just going to be sitting here in between us.
We're going to let him sleep on the couch.
Nate, buckle up. Here you go. We're going to just put him in tow with us. And so, yeah, this is, we are.
You are so uncomfortable with your body right now.
I don't know what to do
You're
with
like,
myself.
so.
I'm used to having like something in front of
Javi.
me. So one of our where all our merchandise, our shirts and hoodies and all that kind of merch is done by one company called Stand Up Apparel, and they are an affiliate of ours. And so we want to be able to talk about them for just a moment. The shirt that I'm wearing is Stand Up Apparel. Often all these green shirts that you see me wearing that I typically wear to green or black, they come from Stand Up Apparel. Incredibly soft. They fit well. They have worn really, really well.
They're just good quality.
And they're great quality.
Yeah.
They are freedom-loving Americans. They do incredible work.
Yeah.
If you go to their page and you search for us, you'll find us. If you go to our page, it'll take you there.
Yeah.
Because they are, we are partnered with them.
And we have our Make Marriage Great Again shirts.
And I don't know the
there.
affiliate link, but it's in the notes, in the show notes, right?
Yes.
So you can go and support Stand Up Apparel, the work that they are doing. They are supporters of this podcast and the work that we do.
Yeah.
And so often we've had people ask, like, "What's that shirt you're wearing on that reel or whatever?"
All
like,
the time.
It's usually Stand Up Apparel.
Well, I mean, 95% of the time, we love Gerard. And they're made in the USA, and he uses good quality shirts, which we appreciate because, listen, we've all bought merch at a concert, at a conference, wherever you've been.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get cheap shirts,
Yeah.
and they don't last long, or they don't feel
There
comfortable, they
you
don't
go.
fit right, and we like
But
stand-up
not
apparel.
anymore. I'm like, I think it's this pillow. I don't
Well,
like this
yeah, I
pillow
got rid
there.
of my pillow along before we started recording.
Oh yeah.
Just
I
just
want
put it on
to
the
get rid of that
couch.
pillow. There you go.
Okay.
All
This is
right.
gonna be a fun episode.
That's better. Okay. I
Oh,
think that's better.
and I know what this episode's about. Oh my gosh.
So I don't know when this. Well, this comes out before. This comes out in April. This will come out right before our anniversary, our 32nd wedding anniversary, and 32 years.
32 years.
And so that's pretty incredible that I've endured 32 years
I
with
wrote
Shannon.
out 32 things I love about you. Are you ready?
Shannon,
I didn't.
I didn't write 32 things I love about
I
you.
I was joking,
I
Javier.
mean, I can maybe get to 15. I'm
Oh,
kidding.
I could get to 3.
Right now, or like, you could do 30. You could do, I could do 32. I like your left eyebrow, your right eyebrow. I like your nose. I like that too.
Oh my gosh.
We're not gonna do 30. You don't want to sit here and listen to 32 things we love about each other, but we thought it'd be fun on this episode. I think
To banter?
32
Are we gonna
years,
banter?
32 years
I love
is
to banter.
is an accomplishment for anybody. And I think we're always big on every year of marriage should be celebrated, and we always have taken our anniversary, a day we have gone to celebrate, whether we go away or it's just taking the day to enjoy one another. That is something that we've always done, to
Yeah.
really enjoy and celebrate every year of marriage. Tell them how it was our first number of years of marriage, when we'd go out to eat and I'd ask you like,
Oh my gosh.
I'd ask you like, okay, so how have I done in these last number of years
Well,
of, or this last year of
so
marriage? Anything I can work
I'm
on?
already excited about this podcast because we're going to get to banter a little bit. It's my favorite thing. So, quick story. I'm driving up the coast with my best friend Carrie um just like a week ago, and we were talking about podcasts, and I said I listen to probably 3 or 4 podcasts a day while I work, which is crazy. She goes, I don't really listen to that many. And she goes, you want to know why, Shannon? She goes, here's why. I hate podcasts that banter at the beginning of every episode. And I looked at her and I went, oh my gosh, Carrie, that's my most favorite part of a podcast. She's like,
She's like, just get to it. See, I'm like that too. I'm like,
she goes, this is
just
why we're
get
so
to it. What are
different.
you talking about? Like,
Nothing, which is so fun.
it's just people are wired differently. Like, I like that we get the banter initially and then we jump into our topic. But people are coming to their, when they want to listen, they want to grab onto something that's going to help them, that they can put into place,
You're
into
going to give them a
practice in their
juicy nug
marriage. I'm
today,
going to give them
Javi?
some nugs, some
Okay, I can't
some hobby
wait.
nugs.
Okay, so this wasn't the first 5 years. This is like this has been like every year. But you started it in the first
No,
year we
but in
went
the
on our
first year, I
anniversary.
would ask Shannon.
So I'm going to tell them
Okay,
we would always go to dinner somewhere on our anniversary. And at that dinner, usually maybe during our main course or usually over dessert, Javi would grab my hand and he would look across the table and he would say, Pookie, is there anything that I could do better this next year? How can I love you better? How can I show up more? Like, what can I do better this year? So that first year, I was like, oh, well, maybe I gave him a couple things, spend more quality time, maybe more back rubs. I don't know what they were. They were probably silly and superficial. And then year 2 came, year 3 came, year 4 or 5. Like I was like, the question's coming at dessert tonight. So I'm going to be ready. So I was like, okay, these are the things he's going to ask me. So I want to have my answers ready. So I preemptively had my answers ready. Either I wrote them down or I thought about them, kept them in the back of my memory, and I would give them to you. It wasn't so embarrassing.
let's
It
just say
wasn't
every year I asked, and it wasn't until,
probably year 10.
no, it was before. It was sooner than that.
I don't think so. It was year
It
10.
was
I'm just
before
going to
that.
say that we were sitting at dinner. He asks the question. I tell him, and I have this light bulb moment. I said, all these years, Javier, you have been sitting here diligently investing in me, asking me what you can do better this year. And not one time in those previous years did I ever ask you what I could do better this year. And you didn't
No.
even bring it up. You never questioned me. You never said, "Why
I
aren't
probably
you
sat
asked?"
there being like, "And
Your turn to go,
your
Shannon.
turn."
And I was
But,
like,
no, it's so I don't think it was 10 years. I think it was more like maybe 5, 6, maybe at the most 7, but where
I think it was longer,
she never asked that question in return,
which is
and
hilarious.
but here's the thing, I never prodded you, and I don't if I recall right, I wasn't like, "Gosh, she never even"
No,
maybe I talked to somebody about it, like, she never asked me, like, she never and it wasn't like during the
Javi,
year you were doing that, so you're like, "We're
because
all good because during the year, she's always asking me, what can
Javi,
she do better?" Nope, that wasn't it either.
but I was such a stellar wife. Like, why would I ask you what I could do better?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why?
Exactly.
When you know that your every day is a home run and you're knocking out of the park as a wife, then there's no reason to ask that
Pretty
question.
much.
Why would you need to improve when you're so incredibly perfect as you are?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it
exactly.
makes absolute sense. So I want to encourage somebody like I won't go there, but like I want to encourage you that if you're doing that with your spouse is asking you that question, why don't you pause and ask them that question in return? I think it's a good thing to say, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that, or for asking that question. And then ask, like, how can I best serve you? Where can I show up that maybe I haven't? Like those questions, like, what are the ways I've shown up in the past in our marriage or early on that I've let slide or I let slip? You know, what are some of the things that I've been doing? And if you go and you download our Engage questions, like free download, those are some of the questions in there that you can ask one another. Okay, so 32 years of marriage. Uh, we want to bring you in just so you understand, like you get to know a little bit about us and our 32 years, but also what
Oh,
we've
that would be
learned
really
in
good.
32 years.
Yeah.
And again, on this podcast, we can't tell you everything. Right? There's so much, and then every every moment, every season of marriage is different.
Yes.
From when we experience great gains, and there's loss, and then there's children, and then there's a job loss, or like all these things that over 32 years, like if I have taken her through so much. When I say that, it's because we lived a life that hasn't been about, like, we've risked a lot, we have laid a lot on the line. We have sacrificed a lot. We have given of ourselves in service to other people.
And made a lot
And
of
through
dumb
ministry,
choices. Like,
we've made some incredible choices, and we made some really bad choices. I made
yes.
bad choices.
Yes. Make
We
that
have had
clear.
loss. We have lost income. We have lost the church we planted. We have lost babies. We have lost um,
Houses,
we had a short sale on the house, like through a crazy situation. We have had many homes. We've moved probably over. Well,
19
before we
times,
were in the marriage lab, I think
18.
it was about 16 to 17
Yeah.
times that we've moved. And some of that was just like we bought one house, wanted to up level, we bought another one, and then we like say like so. Man, we have just been through a lot, and I'm sure your story is similar in the things you've done. It hasn't been like, here's one career, 30 years, good to go. It has not been that. It's been a roller coaster. um and I don't, for all that we've been through, like, I know that we are stronger because of where we have been. This is a good time for you to say something. You're not stronger because would we have chosen all of it? No.
No.
There are things we could have done differently, yes. But on the other side of it, you recognize, okay, like, even in the midst of, like, on the road for 4 years now with the ministry, traveling the country, doing the work we've been doing, it's not always been easy. It's been difficult at times, and trying to figure pieces out, and missing a family, and just a rhythm, community. There's been a lot of difficult pieces. But then the other day we were walking, and I told Shannon, if we pause and think about, man, all the things that we've been able to do, and the ministry we've been able to accomplish, and the lives have been impacted, but also the time that we have spent together enjoying and being in places we've never have been before, and traveling together, and just being us and being connected, like, that's invaluable.
Yeah. It's been a roller coaster. Um, I love how when it came to some, bad choices, I got thrown under the bus as a we made bad choices.
Oh no, we have and I
Yes,
have.
yes, good,
Okay,
let's just
so
yeah.
yeah, it's
No,
not
there's a
no.
we and an I.
I didn't. I said we, and I said
Yes.
I have made also.
Good.
Like, listen, this is the thing: is like if you're listening to your husband, like leading a family, providing, trying to make right choices and
It is
decisions,
not easy.
and lean into God. And I'm human; I could miss it. And there's been times where I've missed it, and there's been times where it probably was a good decision, but I got in the way of certain things, and I did not handle it well, whatever it may be. And I'm one that I can tend to like. I'm a great starter. I don't always finish.
Yeah.
And some will think that's a negative thing, but that I've been wired that way. Like I love birthing things. I love then growing and being invested into it, but then I don't always like maintaining. I want to like continue to grow and expand. I don't always maintain well.
Well, that is a negative. That's like that's something you do
Not
need to work
necessarily.
on.
Not necessarily because as we grow and evolve and we're getting to a place where we offload things that others get to
Okay,
maintain
but
certain aspects
in
of it,
most circumstances you
and
don't.
I can continue
So
to
if
envision and to grow.
you're the king of spinning right now.
Another and that's another podcast.
Uh no, that's true in very few cases.
Yeah.
There are things that you have to maintain in order to grow, and that's where you kind of I feel your excitement in the beginning, but then Javier drops off the face of the planet.
Well, that's been our that I mean, and listen, so that's this is let's not go on the rabbit trail in that direction. Okay. This is not about me and not a therapy session for me right now. This is our 32 years of marriage. So what I'm saying is that we have been and carried a lot, and we're not saying we're unique, we're special, we're different from all of you. Like, our problems are greater and
Yeah.
bigger. That is not the case at
Here's
all.
what I will
What?
say about
Wait, hold on.
32
Let me finish
years.
my thought.
Wait.
Shannon, I
Ah,
was
I
speaking.
know. That was rude.
What I am
Okay,
saying
good.
is even through all of that and through where you may even find yourself as you're listening to this, I don't know, that's where the beautiful things come out of the stories, the what makes what grows you stronger. You're going through the fire, you're being purified, you're um like that is, I think, what has knit us together
Yeah.
more than anything. And and I think there's been times through our 32 years where, yeah, I've questioned, like, am I doing a good job? Am I leading well? Am I doing okay with for my kids? And all those natural questions that do come up.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say now because you made a 51-year-old woman wait.
Oh, because
Um,
of your age, that you can't wait. Okay.
well, here's one thing uh, that I want to say is that nobody taught me this, and I don't know where I learned it. Maybe it just organically came to our marriage, but we haven't spent a lot of time trying to change each other. Now, helping each other, walking alongside each other. So, all of your insecurities, all of your quirks, all of the things that maybe you struggle with, I don't sit and be like, "Oh, I wish Javier was better at this. I wish there was like he could get over this. I wish that this would be behind him. I wish that." It's like I've just learned to
Yeah.
work with you because obviously God brought me to this marriage to be your helper, like to walk alongside you. So I must be equipped in a way you're not equipped.
Yeah.
So I must be qualified by God to do something meet a need of yours you can't meet on your own. So I have spent a lot of time listening to other women talk about how they wish their husband would change. I've been listening to a lot of premarital saying, once we get married, I know I can probably change him. And that's one thing you're never going to do in your marriage.
Yeah. So in 32 years, we haven't tried to change one another. So let's talk about, because we can unpack so many different seasons,
Yeah.
and so many things that we have walked through. But in your 32 years, what would you say? What are lessons you have learned? Some things you have learned, and things that have been like central and core to who we are. Do
We
you?
don't take each other very seriously, but
Oh.
we're very serious about our covenant and our marriage. Um, I have learned to allow I learned early on how to allow you to lead regardless of the outcome, because you have to get to a place where you trust God more than you trust yourself.
Yeah.
Because ultimately,
More than you trust your
even
husband.
even as smart as I think I am, and the decision that I think would be the best still isn't God's best. Like, I don't compare to God. So I have to be able to trust God more than I trust me, more than I trust you. And the thing that I have to pray for and the thing that I have to believe is that you're listening to God, that you're submitted to God, and you are going to mess up.
Yeah.
In marriage, you both are going to make
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
You're going to regret decisions. You're going to be like, ooh, shouldn't have bought that. Ooh, we shouldn't have maybe moved there. Ooh, we shouldn't have gotten that cat. You should
You
never,
should never get a cat.
ever buy a cat.
You're
We,
gonna offend people
I
with cats.
know, I'm
Shannon, stop.
sorry.
Get a cat.
Okay,
As
get
many
a
cats as
cat.
you want.
Don't get a cat. So you will always have these regrettable uh decisions and things like that. But the part that I love about us is that um we try to make each other better, but not try to change each other. Does that make sense? Like, my job, my greatest opportunity, what I love to do is to be your biggest fan and biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, so I was saying 32 years you've done that. You've done that well.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that we learn is how do you celebrate?
Yeah.
How do you come alongside one another? Embrace the uniqueness and the differences. And I think we've done that. I feel that's one of the things I would say in 32 years that I've learned is how to view you, embrace who you are, your uniqueness and what you bring in your skill set. Um, I think that's a big piece, right, of what I've learned. I've learned in the 32 years as well is that yeah, I don't have to have it's not my responsibility always to have all of the answers and have everything figured out, but to be able to trust and come to you and for us to have dialogue and communication and talk through decisions, and ultimately you're trusting me and deferring to me on the final decision on things. There's sometimes
Yeah.
I'm deferring to you because it's about homeschool. That's not my lane, but it is yours. And but so we talked about it, but I'm like, I defer to you on that because you're gonna know best on that and not me. But we've learned to trust each other and to recognize like I don't need to be the guy that has it all figured out. I get to do this together with her and walk this out. And then there's moments like where a probably a poor decision was made, or maybe it wasn't the right choice. We moved forward on it. You've never come back and said, "You see, I told you. You should have listened to me. I was right." Like we said, okay, how do we recorrect? How do we keep going and get to where we want to be?
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of
I think one of the other things that I love about our 32 years, um, and I've heard this from so many people who've spent time in our home, and that would be like the ethos of our home, like just the home life and environment we created for our girls and just for us. We saw our house as a sanctuary. We saw it as somewhere, a safe place to land, to be authentically who we are, to be silly, be crazy, cry, whatever. And just the environment in which we created that was welcoming to other people, that people would come and they're
some
like,
notes.
I love hanging out in your house. Like, I don't know what it is about your home, but we love being here.
Yeah,
And it's not about the type of home or how it was decorated or how expensive our flooring was. Like, it had nothing to do with that. It was just this environment that we created in our home that made people feel loved and welcomed. And I loved creating that space for people, and I feel like once we hit the road in the marriage lab, I
Yeah.
wanted to create this space to feel
Yeah.
like when people came in that
Yeah.
they felt comfortable and at ease
Yeah.
and at home around us.
And so I had written down some things that just high level. So as they're listening to this, like, things learned, but lesson. I mean, we can't pass on everything that we, in one podcast that we've learned. But I think remembering that we're in 32 years, we're growing together. And listen, this is apply this to wherever you're at. Like that, you have to be willing to adapt, to learn, to love each other through every season and every change. And we've done that because you evolve into different versions of yourself. But also, you have a marriage when you begin. It's just you two, and then a child comes in, and it's kind of like a new marriage. We have to reinvent some things and how we spend
Yeah.
time together and how we connect. And priority is God, our marriage, and our children. It's a new marriage, and then another kid comes in,
Yeah.
and it feels like all new again. Then there's a job loss in the middle of that,
Yeah.
and we're resetting and we're adapting. You have to be adaptable.
Can I just, yeah, sorry. Can I just say something unpopular about that season for us with kids? I didn't find it difficult. Like I actually loved parenting with you in even like the newborn stage all the way through because I felt like such a team with you.
Yeah.
I felt like we were so much on the same page about what we were going to
Yeah.
do, and just even
Yeah.
like the schedule I had babies on. Like you showed up so much that I never felt like our marriage was struggling or I was all in parenting while my husband's off working and not paying attention to us.
Yeah.
Like I felt so connected to you. And I think that just comes down to our intentionality and how we talked about leading up to
Yeah.
before the girls
But
were
a lot of
born.
people, that's a big thing. They feel disconnected when kids come
Yeah, I
because
know.
that becomes. I'm saying like that is that's one of the things where they have to begin to adapt. I also said recognizing, yes, you've entered into a covenant relationship. And so for me, learning in 32 years that it's not based on the feelings. There's times that we didn't like each other. You're not my favorite person. I didn't
Love is
like
a
how that
choice.
happened, but
Yes.
we love each other. So we're not basing it off of just these feelings. But
Love
we're
is a choice.
choosing daily to be
Yeah.
intentional with one another. And that is something in our 32 years that we have worked on. I want to encourage you is intentionality with one another, pursuing and serving one another, and recognizing that if we don't communicate, if we don't connect, like that's a big thing. Like communication is everything in the sense of like what's going to build a marriage that lasts is that you have to be able to listen at times even more than you speak, but communicate, with your words and then with your actions, right? John Deloney says behavior is a language. So what is your behavior saying? Like consistent communication and connection with one another. Forgiveness, right? That's a
Mm.
non-negotiable thing that we have learned. I'm better at that than Shannon is. So not better. I'm learning to be the first to forgive, the first to come and say, I'm sorry. I'm very quick in what we've realized in my years to recognize, to own. Shannon might take a little bit longer in those areas, but we've
Did
learned that we don't hold on to resentment and bitterness
yeah.
in our marriage. We haven't done that in 32 years. We don't go days without talking to each other. We might be silent for a little bit, but then, I mean, it happened the other day. I was silent. I don't even know what it was about. Then I was leaving for a hike, and I came and gave her a kiss. And I'm sorry, like, we miscommunicated, and we're fine,
I
right?
think we were
We were
arguing. We
fantastic.
we were arguing over eggs. No, acai bowls.
I don't remember. You see, no, it wasn't, but you don't remember what it was. See, um, I think also in our years we've learned is to enjoy one another, to take time where you're just having fun, where you're just laughing, where you're going and doing activities together. You find a shared hobby if you can, or shared activities. That I'm telling you right now is not taking things seriously, like you said, is being able to enjoy the journey you're on, and be able to enjoy one another and your best friend and be able to hang out. And even if you don't enjoy all the same things together, to be able to find some common interests, some things that you can do together. um, and also recognizing that intimacy also goes beyond the physical. So how, in our 32 years of learning, like how do we engage with one another? How do we emotionally, spiritually invest into one another, and that we're doing good in that. How are we praying together? All those areas are things I think that have helped us in our 32 years. I would also say never stop pursuing one another.
Mhm.
I think we've done that well to pursue one another.
Mhm.
Dating is not the answer.
Mm-mm.
That's just one of the pieces. People
Mhm.
think, oh, we go on dates. Great. That's not like just the answer.
Yeah.
Like it's more than just going on one date,
Yeah.
or one date a week. Like
Well,
that's
I mean, if you went on it, if you for those listening and you're like, "We go out on a date," your date could be completely fruitless. So if your date consists of, running to Home Depot and grabbing a bite to eat while you both scroll on your phone
yeah,
through dinner, that is not a date,
yeah,
and it doesn't count. Like,
yeah,
you're not making a deposit into the emotional bank account of your
yeah,
spouse. So spending quality time together and those dates
yeah.
can be some people that follow us or we've met across the United States, they're like, "We go on breakfast dates, and they're the best part of our week," or, "We play pickleball together."
But that
But
wasn't just
it's
about a date. That's intentionality.
yeah,
That's building
but
intimacy.
it encompasses all of those
Yeah, it's
things.
connection, it's communication. These are the things that in our 32 years we have found, but we believe the best in one another. We
Yeah,
hope the best in one another.
yeah,
And again, like I mentioned, we have lost a lot, and we've also gained a lot. But in those years, like we have never stopped pursuing our own relationship with God, and that's enabled us to pursue one another well.
yeah,
And so that's the other thing is saying it, like what has sustained us is keeping God at the center,
mhm,
always,
yeah.
not just when things are good or when we need something, but always keeping Him at the center and making that the reason, the purpose for our marriage. And in this place of recognizing, and we talked about this in a podcast a little bit ago, and we're now doing this in our workshops, is recognizing that our marriage ultimately, even in our 32 years, has been a ministry to one another, to be able to find ways to love, pursue, to serve, to
You are
be
my
in
mission
to
field.
be in that
Yeah.
mission field, and to love radically. So it has been a the greatest joy of my life, Pookie, to be your husband. No tears, but also the greatest difficulty.
I
Because, no, not a difficulty. It has been my
yeah, choose your
greatest
words wisely.
joy, but also has been my greatest challenge, not because of you, but because to grow and become the man you're called to be, and to grow and become a good husband and father and leader, it's work, and it takes
Yeah.
intentionality, and you don't do it alone. And so,
Yeah, but for 32 years, your selfishness has been challenged.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
But our my greatest litmus test to the success of our marriage is our girls who love to hang out with us and talk about us all the time. For me, I don't care about the followers on Instagram or the accolades that we could get on social
I mean,
media
we
or
care about you.
anything.
We do care about
Uh
you.
my girls are our biggest fans. They love us, they celebrate us. They love the home they grew up in, and they love to hang out with us. So for me, we won.
Yeah.
We won.
And so we happy 32 years to us, anniversary. Woohoo! But also at the same time, like we is it in what's the oh shoot the
I
uh,
haven't gotten to mind reading yet in
no,
marriage.
no, oh shoot, the movie with Tom Cruise.
I love my wife. I
No,
love
no,
my
don't say it. That's
oh,
Shannon Labrador.
sorry. Go
Why
ahead.
did I just read the name of the movie?
Jerry
Oh, Jerry
Maguire.
Maguire, sweet Moses. In the great words of Dickie Fox, I love my life, I love my wife, and I wish you my kind of success. So we pray for each and every one of you that listen to this, that are part of the 24/7 marriage family. We want you to have a marriage that's thriving, that is healthy, but doesn't come without the difficulties, the pain, and the struggles. And those are the seasons that you walk through, that you have to go through, but they are also what makes this such a beautiful journey, and also at times very difficult. But it is the best thing you can do of giving your life on behalf of somebody else and leaving a legacy that will impact generations. So we appreciate each and every one of you, and always remember, in marriage, you don't have to.
You get
You get
to.
to. Have an incredible week, and we'll see you soon. And here I go to press stop. For listening to the 24/7 Marriage Podcast. Help us expand our reach by rating and leaving us a review on iTunes. Make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. For more information on the work we do and how to support the 24/7 Marriage, head on over to 247marriage.org and click on Partner with Us. Until next week, remember, in marriage you don't have to, you get to.